Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today, I'm going to go over a pretty entertaining email/story that was sent from a subscriber. This from a guy, I'm guessing he's probably at the earliest, late 40s, at the oldest, early 50s. He's been watching the channel for a while, and he's been a bachelor for 5 years ever since he parted ways with his fiancée. And he shares his story, how he recently decided after 5 years and no dating and all that, decided to test the waters again, and his experience with one date in today's world showed him why he's been a bachelor for 5 years, and he has no intention of dating anytime after this whole thing. And it's a pretty entertaining and amusing story here, but with some definite important points. Point number one, don't date your friends' family members, like your bro's sister, or cousin, or even niece, or something like that. Just no sense of messing up a friendship because just dating one of their relatives. This is a bad idea. Number two, if you're going to date somebody, don't go out with somebody just because it's a low-hanging fruit and it's easy, but even though that you see that there's nothing in her you really like. Some guys might do it to test the waters after being out of the scene for a while. Don't waste your time. And three, probably most important here, and you will see in this story, if she starts the date with you, by spending 20 minutes in the bathroom pitching a loaf, I assure you the date probably is not going to go too well. And you'll see more what I'm talking about in a few minutes. So it starts off, says here, Dear SSM, I hope you had a great Christmas and I wish you a Happy New Year. I wrote in a couple years ago about my sister, Noreen, creating a massive family blowout over Christmas holiday. Thankfully, she has not acted up since. Maybe the ordeal was unpleasant enough for her to finally take a hint. Here's hoping, and I will let you know if another train wreck happens. Well, brother, I'll take your word for it. I've done so many stories in the last 2 years, it's hard to remember them all. But if there's something worth updating on, certainly let me know and remind me of the video. But today I have a short story about a date I went on with a friend of mine, the sister of a friend of mine. For laughs, I will call her Jessica. We will call my buddy Ben. Yes, Jessica is definitely warranted given the story I'm about to share, guys. Well, some background here. I've been out of the dating scene for 5 years since separating from my fiancée, but I've had a bit of an itch to test the dating waters again. Why? Why, given how things are? I mean, if you want to get laid, just say it. But just to date? I've known Ben and his family for 15 years. I've interacted with his sister Jessica on and off throughout this time. Well, Ben suggested I go out with her, and I agreed just to see how things would go. Smack! No, terrible idea. Don't date your bro's family members. Because what if it goes very badly, and that could impact your friendship? It's not worth it. Well, a little bit about Jessica. Now listen to this. Listen to how much of a catch she is before you get to really see what she's like, guys. She is in her late 40s, divorced, but her 2 adult children are out on their own, and she's currently doing contract work while finishing an MBA, has some student debt, and is currently living with her elderly mother. Oh, great. Now again, dude, I'm assuming again like your late 40s, 50s. She's in her late 40s. Now maybe she looks damn good for her age, okay, but still. She's a single mom. Yes, the kids are out of the house. That's the more ideal situation if you're going to date a single MOM, but it doesn't mean those kids are out of the picture, or those adult children out of the picture. She's still trying to get an advanced degree in her late 40s at this point, taking on debt, and she lives with her mom. Now that's nice. She's taking care of her elderly mother. I respect that. That's a big deal, but still. These aren't all qualities that I would see worth getting involved with somebody, even wasting your time. Certainly she's not an ideal match for a long-term partner, but being this was my first date in 5 years, I just want to see how things would go, knowing that there wouldn't be a need for a second date if things went south. I've already interacted with Jessica over the years, and I thought it was worth giving a shot. Smack! Don't waste your time. Might as well just meet somebody while you're out, or something like that, and give them a shot at least. But there's the deck. You have all these things that are making you not interested in her. Call me crazy, but knowing how this goes, and even initially I thought this, a part of me thinks, and I'll wait to see if you guys think this too in the comment section, that this dude here deliberately picked a gal to go out with who he knew it would work out with, to just reinforce why his decision to stay a bachelor and not date for 5 years, to back that up. And he picks the worst possible one. But that's just me. Well, I quickly learned there would not be a second date. Okay, here we go. Here we are with the train wreck date. For our date, I decided that we would go on a brief hike at a local state park, and then go to a wine bar and restaurant afterwards. I picked up Jessica at her home, and she was wearing pajama pants. Not a great look. Pajama pants? Really? For a hike and then a date? I hate when people wear pajama pants out. It drives me freaking crazy. Yeah, she's classy, but it doesn't sound like she's trying to dress up and look too good for you either. Well, we drove to the park's entrance, about a 20-minute drive from her parents' house, and she sipped on coffee along the way. Upon reaching the park's entrance, she had to take a massive dump. Did she actually say that? Hey, can you pull over? I gotta take a giant shit. Is that what she actually said? Not exactly to get the romance going in your head. She couldn't have done that before you came to the house. I get things happen. She had some coffee. I don't know, but still. Well, there was a restroom facility near the park entrance. She entered the ladies' room, and I stood outside the facility for a good 20 minutes for her to come out. And that's how our date started. 20 minutes? The hell took so long? Jesus, talk about a shit test to see if you'll stick around. Well, Jessica finally came out and wanted to share with me that there was someone in the stall next to her who seemed eerily quiet during the entire ordeal while she was doing her business. Jessica speculated that she may have been shooting up. I thanked her for sharing that information with me. I don't know, maybe that person was eerily quiet because Jessica's in there going, "Argh!" for 20 minutes because she couldn't get it out. I don't know. That'd make me quiet. Yeah, what a great start to the date. You know, I hope it wasn't like a porta pot at the entrance, you know, where sometimes they might have a sanitizer and sometimes they may not. Hope they had ability for her to wash her hands before she got back in your car and, you know. Well, Jessica and I eventually did the hike, which was pretty uneventful, and we next drove down to the wine bar. I ordered the food and drinks and split with Jessica. And he says, yes, I know about dinner dates. If Jessica was a complete stranger, then I would have opted for just coffee. Yeah, I got no problem with that. I've talked about this lots of times, guys. Women are out there to use guys for free meals, foodie dates, foodie calls. And I always advise, make it inexpensive, a coffee, a beer, a wine, whatever, cheap. But in the event that it's someone that he's been acquainted with for a while, then that's a little different. So, okay, I got no problem with maybe having a little appetizer or something like that. But that's the only reason why. In any event, we were seated at the rear of the wine bar restaurant venue, and right next to us was a door that led to an outdoor patio of the venue. As we learned a few minutes later, it was supposed to stay closed for the winter. But there was no sign at the door. There was no sign at the door, and it was unlocked, so we thought we could just be no issue if we went to briefly step out and look at the scenery. So Jessica and I stepped out on the patio for a few minutes and enjoyed the outdoor view. We eventually returned to our table, and our server, a nice young lady, informed us that the patio was closed for the winter, and the door needed to remain closed at all times. Okay, no problem. You didn't know. Waitress wasn't rude to you. Now watch this. Well, I acknowledged the server and apologized for the misunderstanding. Jessica became argumentative and combative with the server. That's a sign. When somebody, if you're on a date with somebody, guys, and they're being rude and combative and mean to somebody in the service sector, that tells you a lot about their character. Big deal. But Jessica's got to start a bunch of bullshit. Jessica's got to act like a Jessica. The server reiterated the policy of the restaurant, and Jessica then started complaining that she felt like she was being imprisoned. Dude, no, you were in prison being with her. Why the hell are you still staying with her? She's a freaking asshole. Well, eventually the server left, and I tried to keep my cool after being annoyed by Jessica's conduct. I started bantering with Jessica, but I noticed her eyes were fixated at the bar. Apparently, Jessica was giving the death stare to the server, who was speaking to the bartender about us. I was now beginning to wonder if we were going to get kicked out over this avoidable nonsense. Fortunately, a new server came to our table the rest of the evening, and that was the end of that. Drama, drama, drama. So you can't tell me over the years that you didn't see somewhat of this side to Jessica. My God, man. If Jessica wasn't my buddy's sister, who I've known for 15 years, and I didn't know Jessica's mother, who's a sweet lady I've known for many years too, I would have paid the bill and left Jessica right then and there. I gave the restaurant a nice tip for having to deal with Jessica's foolishness. Dude, I would have left her. I would have been out of there after she was spending 20 minutes on the crapper. I mean, seriously. After we finished our food, I drove home Jessica, who was acting loopy from her alcohol consumption. Well, I told my friend Ben the next day that we were not going to hit it off, and that was that. He thought we would somehow connect, and though Ben is the type who can't stand loneliness, he's on his third wife after getting smoked twice in divorce court. He's on his third freaking wife because he can't be alone. Smack! Guess what? He's going to be on his fourth wife pretty soon. So that was my story, SSM. After being out of the dating market for 5 years, the date itself wasn't good, but I learned how much patience I would have for bullshit. At this stage of my life, there certainly is so much truth and peace and quiet. There's much truth that peace and quiet is better than having to deal with another person's chaos. So here's to a wonderful 2026, and good luck to everybody out there. Well, that's pretty funny, man. But I got to say this. I got to wonder if you intentionally set yourself up to fail. Seriously. I mean, you said yourself at the beginning, all those qualities that she had that were not ideal. You know, I mean, you could have just simply just not gone out with her and stuck with your idea that, you know what, given today's world, it's just not worth it. But you picked a gal who was destined to fail. The date failed before you went out with her because you could see her characteristics that wouldn't go anywhere because you didn't like about her. And obviously there had to have been things that you'd seen over the years in terms of her personality, how she behaved, that indicate that it wasn't going to work out, you know? But anyhow, what's done is done. Hopefully this doesn't have a negative impact with your friendship with Ben. Ben definitely needs my channel and my work if he's now on his third wife and he can't be lonely and he thought you would hit off. Really? You know? Gee, big surprise that Jessica is single. That there's no guy in her life. I mean, good God. And yeah, all jokes aside, because I gotta make fun of the whole taking a dump thing in the beginning of the day, 20 minutes. When you gotta go, you gotta go. But the odds are probably she could have done that before you came, picked her up, took a shower, but missed pajama pants on the date and all these other things. Good God, man. But anyhow, here's the dating world and all that. So enjoy your bachelorhood. The next time you decide to test the waters, at least if you're going to spend some time out, perhaps be with a gal that you actually have attraction for, that doesn't wear jammies on the fucking first date, that doesn't have qualities that turn you off, that will avoid taking a dump either long before you pick her up and she showers and everything, or later on when you're done, because that is an omen for how the whole thing went. My God. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And, guys, you got a good story you want to share, a funny story you want to share, send it my way, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. And if it's a good story, I'll definitely cover it. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.